All right, welcome to the studio. Here is an actual photo shoot that I'm going to do of an actual newborn baby. And what I'm using is a piece of black velvet. I've had this particular piece now for about 22 years, and I got a lot of mileage out of it. Probably will get many more miles in the future. Now, black velvet is an excellent material. Costs a little bit more than your average material, but it's an excellent material if you want a pitch black backdrop. And what I'm doing is I'm hanging it. I'm going to stretch it out. Most of the shots for newborns are taken with this particular backdrop. I find it works really well. The room temperature, just to remind you that you have to have a nice warm room. And babies are very susceptible to cold air. I usually turn the lights down low. And I have some nice soft music playing. I want to create a nice soothing environment for newborn babies. Now I'm adjusting my main light here so that I'm 90 degrees, and I will switch it a little bit throughout the shoot beyond 90 degrees to where the stool is, and that's where the dad's going to be shooting or sitting from, where I'll be shooting him. I'll be somewhere in the middle, just a little bit left to your view here. And at this point I'm adjusting the other reflector. I use a lot of reflectors, and that's the background light, and I'm going to swing it around here because I don't want any background light. I'm going to aim it just as a very, very little specular highlight, almost like a kicker light. And that's the main light on top. Now just let me run through the configuration here, and there's another kicker light. The main light to the right is f11. The hair light, which actually reacts as a main light in some of the shots, is at 8.5. The kicker lights on the left are at 8. And here I'm looking at my reflection. I'm looking at the reflection from the main light. I want to see that they were coming off the reflectors into the subject area. Now here's the actual baby. And I'm adjusting my other reflector. I'm using 3 reflectors in this particular shoot. One right off the main, one on the stand off to the main, and the one off to the left of the photo shoot reacting as a fill light. So I've set the baby up in Dad's arms, and I have a towel on Dad's lap. That's in case of accidents, because accidents do happen, especially at newborn. And I just ask Dad to lovingly hold the baby, and I start shooting. I ask Dad to turn and look into baby's eyes. And this is the angle here. You can see the hair light on top. It is coming down onto the baby's face, and it just is going to add a nice, almost a side lighting to the baby's face. And the main light off to the right, the 36-inch narrow softbox, illuminates the dad and parts of the baby. So I'm going to show you some pictures right now and see exactly what it is we are acquiring. Now you can see the baby's lit by the main light, the hair light, and the dad was lit by the main light, the big softbox. And here's some of the actual shots from this particular shoot. I always like to get Dad in really, really close, looking right into baby's eyes. And I swung the baby around, basically did a 180, asked Dad to hold the baby the other way, and started firing away again. Babies will often get fussy and cry a lot, and you just have to be very, very patient. And I like to get in close and crop in nice and tight and just photograph the baby in many of these shots. So what we're going to do now is hold the baby up against Dad's chest, and we get a nice photo opportunity right there. It's this one here is lit by the softbox off to the right. The reflector on the stand, the circular reflector, is kicking in more light up into the father and baby. I there asked baby to turn, father to turn, basically the same pose. He had the baby up against his chest. And off to my left there's a fill reflector. The light's bouncing from that stand, which is holding the reflector, back into the entire scene. And here's what we got from this particular shot, this particular series of photographs. It's always nice to get in close. Here's another photo shoot, same idea though. Normally I have a beanbag right underneath because I'm a little paranoid, but I guess I forgot in this particular case. I guess I felt safe that this father was going to hold the baby okay. And there are some shots. Now you can see again, I want to remind you that the main light coming off the baby is actually my hair light. It's just a 6 or 7-inch reflector with no diffusion on it. It's just bouncing right down, and it's at about 8.5. The main light is at f11, but because the the angle of the hair light reacting in this particular case for a lot, not that particular shot, but for many of them, the angle creates a nice strong side lighting. It creates that nice, very carved out type lighting. And here's an example right here. You can see the light coming down on baby, and in this one as well. And another one. Get the baby's butt up against dad's chest in this particular case, and get the legs turned up, and you get a really, really nice triangulation, nice composition in this particular shot. And all you have to do is get mom in there, and make sure you put mom in behind, because you don't want to do a complete profile on the mom. You want to keep the dad in profile and get the mom on a 3/4 angle for this particular pose. Now we're going to use a different set of props here. We're going to use a different backdrop, and it's the pedestals. And this is a very, very popular pose with many, many parents. I bought the pedestals basically at Walmart, and I use them a lot. Mom is just outside of these particular shots. I ask her to stroke the baby, hold the baby, tuck the arm under the chin. You can see how baby's arm is tucked under the chin. The weight of the baby's head actually prevents the baby, in most cases, from moving its arm, and then get the legs curled in. And you can ask mom to pick up the baby and just snuggle it up close to her cheek, and there you have an extra pose right away. This is a very, very popular pose. And if you work it a little bit in Photoshop, you can actually make it look very painterly. Make it look like an oil painting, a water painting. Just give it a whole new look altogether. And then again, some of the side shots you can do of baby sleeping on the mom. This is basically one softbox. Very, very simple. One softbox. The mom wasn't expecting to be in that particular shot, but she was dressed in black, so I put her in there. Put a baby in a blanket and ask dad to lift the blanket up and the toes sticking out, or just come in and get toe shots, body shots. Ask mom or dad to hold the toes, the feet up in the air against the black. Makes a wonderful addition to the whole photo system.